my name is Yiming Fu. You can also call me Fiona. Today we're gonna talk about two poems. The first one is Shakespeare's Sonnet 12, and the second one is Wordsworth's 7. So first, we are going to talk about Shakespeare's Sonnet 12. To begin with this poem, first we have to know what is a sonnet. A sonnet takes a different form with the classical sonnet poets, but there are three things that are common functions. The first one, the sonnet has 14 lines, and the second one, a strict rhyme scheme. In Shakespeare's sonnets, the formula is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. And we'll talk about it later. And the third one, the sonnet is written in iambic pentameter, which means if the line has 5 feet, so it's writing in pentameter. And the stressing pattern is all M's. For example, if you would put the key inside the lock, so it sounds like da dum da dum da dum da dum da dum. So now we're gonna read this poem first. When I do count the lock that tells the time, and see the brief day sunk in Halo's night, when I behold the violet past the prime, and sable curls all silver or with white, when lofty trees I see bearing of leaves, earth from heat did accompany the heart, and summer screen of bright egg in sheaves, born on beard with white and bristly beard. Then of the beauty do I question make, that though among the waste of time must go, since sweet and beauties do themselves forsake, and die as fast as they see others grow, and nothing against the time's courtesy can make a difference. Seek breathe, to brave him when he takes the hands. So as can be seen, the rhyme of the poem: time, night, prime, white, lips, hurt, sheath, beard, make, go, forsake, grow, defense, hints. It sounds like A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. So that is Shakespeare's rhyme in his sonnet 12. So Shakespeare's sonnet 12 is perhaps one of his most interesting and important sonnets which he has written. And the whole poem is about one of most destructive and unpredictable elements of our life, which is time. Now let's talk about literary device and analyze. Personification. When I do count the clock that tells the time, and see the brief day sunk in Halo's night. The clock cannot tell anything, and the day cannot be brief either. However, the speaker personifies the clock and the day, and uses hearing sense to emphasize that time is running slightly, and but the clock is always reminding us the passing of the time. The day which sunk into the Halo's night is brief. It illustrates that the day is too weak and short compared to the long dark night. So it is really important to us to catch every second in a day. And the next one is the theme of the poem. Like we just discussed, the theme of the poem is time. In Shakespeare's Sonnet 12, time is the main idea for the whole poem. The speaker laments the passing of the time and the shortage of the lives. No matter the running lock, the pastel violet, or the fading leaves, they are all described as the missing of time. So here are some pictures which can best describe those views. The running clock in the day which sunk into the night, and the violet which passed the prime, and the man who's getting old, and the fading leaves. So here are some questions that we have to talk about in detail. The first question is, in Sonnet 12 by Shakespeare, how does he show the passing of the time in the poem? The theme in Shakespeare's sonnet mainly shows the passing of time and how time shows on people's appearance. The author feels sad and when he sees things fading, especially the one he loves. The poem goes the violet past the prime, and the sable course all silvered over with white. Another thing that the author mentions is that the changing of seasons and the day. The poem uses the trees that are bearing of leaves and the brief day sunk in Hidal's night to show the fact that all things will pass away and the passing of time will take his beloved away. The next question. What does Shakespeare mean when he states, and nothing against the time size can make difference, save breath, to brief him when he takes the hearse? Who is taking him away and where are they taking him? So, when Shakespeare said that, he means nothing can stop you growing older and escape the hand of time. Time is there, and no one can change the fact that we are moving with the time. By saying that, Shakespeare encouraged people to have children who can carry on their family name and legacy or even challenge what you have done. Overall, time is taking him away, and he will be taken to a place which is called death. And the third question, what color are referenced in Shakespeare's poem, and what do they symbolize, and how do they contribute to the mood of the poem? So first of all, there are three colors which are referenced in Shakespeare's poem, which is sable, white, and green. The color symbolizes the different stage a person is at. The sable and white represents the age part of a human being whose hair changes from black to white. They contribute to the mood that aging is something that all people are faced with, which adds more sadness to the mood of the poem. Green, on the other hand, symbolizes the start of the life, since green shares the same color with spring and summer, as what the poem goes, and summer's green all girded up in sheaves born on the beard with white and breathes the beard, which shows the light of life and its potential development. Now we are moving on to the next poem, Winter 7, which is written by Wordsworth. It describes a discussion between an adult, the speaker, and a little cottage girl about the number of brothers and sisters who dwell with her. The poem turns on the question of whether to count two dead siblings as part of the family. Since the poem is really long, so I didn't put it on my PowerPoint. Now let's talk about the literary device, imagery. In a literary text is an author's use of vivid and descriptive language to add depth to their work. It appeals to human sense to deepen the reader's understanding of the work. Here's the imagery which I found from the poem. The imagery that describes a girl that she had a rustic woodland air and she was wildly clad, suggests her innocence and connection with nature. Since she's still too young, she doesn't care about her appearance yet. Next one, we are talking about metaphor. In line 2, that lightly draws it breeze. The line shows the variety of the girl, and their grapes are green. They may be seen. This line shows the speaker uses green grape to represent the meaning of death for the little girl. The third one, my brother John was forced to go. This one is pretty easy, which shows that the little girl's brother died. And the last one, it was throwing words away for steal. It obviously means that the man abandons to change the little girl's mind about her dead brothers, and feels that he's wasting his words. Next, let's talk about the theme of We Are Seven. First is death. The speaker didn't tell what death means because it depends on how different people identify the meaning of the death. Here, the little girl identified the death as the death of body, but not the soul. And youth. The little girl still insisted in her own belief, even though the speaker tries to persuade her. Her persistency and obstinacy should be admired. And family. The heart of this poem is the meaning of family. The little girl always believed her siblings are part of their life, a part of her life and her family, even though they're dead already. Now we're gonna talk about the questions. In We Are Seven, how does the author create the ironies at the beginning of the poem? Do you find this approach effective? We Are Seven starts with a question, a simple child that lightly draws its breath and feels its life in every lap. What should it know of death? Wordsworth starts the poem with a thought-provoking questions about what should a child know about death. Instead of illustration, the author's questions effectively hook the readers and persuade the readers to continue reading in order to find out the answer. And next question. What is the author and the young girl in the poem discussing? And where are her siblings? The author and the young girl in the poem are discussing her siblings. Two of her siblings are in Conway, while other two are out to sea, and the rest of two are buried in the churchyard. As she answered in the poem, 7 are we, and 2 of us are at Conway Deville, and 2 are gone to sea. 2 of us in the churchyard life, my sister and my brother. Look at the year this poem was written. Does the time period have any significance on why the young girl had 2 siblings die? The poem was written in 1798. In that year, health agencies were not very well developed. It was expensive for the parents to take care of their children. According to Wordsworth, the first that dead was Sister John. In bed she mourning lay, till God released her of her pain, and then she went away. From what has been described above, it obvious that many children suffered from illness and they could not be cured. So I think the time period has significance on why the young girls had 2 siblings die. How is rhythm created in the poem as you read each line? How many lines are in each stanza? The rhythm in this poem was created in 4-beat to 3-beat to 4-beat to 3-beat style. There are 4 lines in each stanza. For example, the poem goes, she had a rustic woodland air, and she was wildly clad. Her eyes were fair and very fair. Her beauty made me glad. The last question is that, which of the 2 poems did you enjoy the most or why? Personally, I think I prefer to wear 7 because it is easier to understand according to Wordsworth used a narrative style. Also, the story is more positive than the Sonnet 12. Finally, let's make a conclusion here. All in all, the mood of Sonnet 12 is sad and depressed. However, in William Wordsworth, we are 7. The discussion between the little girl and the speaker gives a positive attitude compared to these 2 poems. Both speakers present that the fact that no one can dodge the fate of death, but it is up to the reader that if they want to live in anxiety or hold another attitude to the death as the little girl. At the end of Sonnet 12, the speaker suggests us to save breath, to brief him when he takes the hearse, which means to make our self-life valuable and do something that make our spirit live, which also means have a child. From the little girl in We're 7, we also learned that the death doesn't mean losing something. After the people dies, we have to continue the life and as better as possible, and to be innocent. Family is always our heart.